My dad started the company back in the early 60s, worked for a lot of the big timber companies and stuff. Me and my brother came in somewhere in the early 80s. I think I started around 84, 41 years of playing on the machines. Anytime something new comes out, it's always better, so it's hard to compare, but this one's great, good machine. The background to what we do now is mainly focused more on either developing a little property that we buy or chipping for some of the other companies. So we see a lot of different stuff out there. We've got 3 different chippers that we usually run 2 at a time. We leapfrog one all the time. So if the chip band's finished on one job, they just go to the other one. There's an identical shovel with a chipper that's the same. It's all set up and they don't miss a clip during the day. So try to just keep rotating them. Yeah. Usually with pulp bins, it's the smallest amount of wood volume and it's stored on the job. You move a lot, so constantly bouncing from one to the other, and that's the reason to have the rotation in it. Today we're 5-6 miles east of Longview, Washington, just off the freeway, and gonna do an inwoods chipping project for Weyerhaeuser here. More of a cleanup, get rid of all the scraps that were left behind. We've had it for probably a couple months now, and so far we've really liked it. We really like the width of it because we're able to move with no pilot cart for almost everything, and that's one of our biggest problems is some of the newer machines got so wide we were having a hard time being small, getting enough people to put a pilot in the front, pilot in the back. Next thing you know, the pilots are almost more expensive than the move. Fuel efficiency has been a huge benefit on this one. About half of the running the 320D. This rig seems to be way more fuel efficient, and it seems to be a lot more agile on its feet. It's really quick on its feet. So that works really well. We travel a lot on the roads with it, and the narrowness of it also helps us on the roads because chip bands usually have a very low belly to the ground, and this machine stays in the road more, doesn't beat the shoulders down, and seems to keep the roads in a little better shape for us. So, pretty happy with it. Prior to the 528, we have 3 of the 320D FM cat shovels, and I really like them. The one thing we noticed about the 528, it's a little quicker, and hydraulic over electric or electric over hydraulic, however that works in the cab, seem to make the cab a little more, when we're walking a lot with the pilot controls in the older machines, a lot of handshake and the cab would get a little shake in it. And this machine, that stuff eliminated all that, so it's way more comfortable for the operator. It doesn't shake the cab around near as bad, and the cab's really quiet. Matter of fact, the chippers are super noisy because they're high horsepower, and you almost have to open the door to make sure it's running at right RPM. So that's been a huge deal. The cabs are really nice on them. Playing on this machine, it seems like the swing torque is maybe better than the older machine by quite some. The other day we were watching boom full out uphill. It was still able to swing and travel, and I don't think that's any kind of an issue. It's lots of swing power. The one thing that we really like on the machine is the travel power. You can be traveling, swinging, and it seems to have more travel power, even with a smaller engine in it and better fuel capacity. We were really worried that it wasn't going to travel quite as good. The travel power is spectacular on it. You can be moving down the road, turn, and work spectacular on that part. That's one of our favorite features. Cooling's great, and of course it's got cooling seats too, so it's a whole different animal than our other ones. But yeah, the cab with as much glass and visibility, you always wonder if they're going to get warm, but no, that doesn't seem to be any problem at all. The DEF, it doesn't seem to burn a whole lot of DEF. We don't not like we're packing it daily or anything. And the fuel consumption is about half of the 320 is from what we can see, and that's probably the huge benefit. Cab is really creature comfortable. I mean, the reason I haven't been in it much is because he doesn't want to get out of it. It's just a lot nicer machine. I think he'd rather see me move it a lot more miles in one direction. If there's one closer, no, we're getting that one. So cab comfort's really good for him. It's got a lot of features in it. I think the glass they put in it, you know, the old ones had the bars in the window, and now there's no bars. So I would say the visibility is probably the nicest thing in them as far as operator. The heel and grapple on this machine are basically a twin to what the 320s had. So all that stuff when we're looking out the front window is same reach. All that stuff feels the same as those. A little bit of change when they put the electric over hydraulic. A little better speed. Of course, like anything, once you're used to it, you'll love it better. The ground clearance is great. Yesterday we peeled over the hill and there was a fairly high stump there, and the machine's light enough you don't sink a whole lot like some of the bigger machines, so you might stay up a little higher anyway, but the ground clearance is plenty high for what we do. The moving part's probably one of the biggest features for us. And then there's some new weight restrictions out there and bridge rules and stuff. That's helped because it's just a smidge lighter than the 320s, and the 320s are right at what our bed will do as far as with no booster on it or anything. So That's probably the biggest one for us. The second one would be that cab that they put on it. It's a lot more comfortable than the older cabs. So, I think fuel falls into number 3. This one that they come back with now, definitely an improvement as far as cab convenience and visibility. I think it's going to be safer all the way around, just with visibility and shorter counterweight. The whole thing seems to be a big up step from what we are running.